Alright, my dear learners over there, I welcome you to our lesson 29. This is your teacher Hakim as usual. Please, I call for your attention. Please concentrate and we see what this lesson has brought for us today here. So as usual, we normally start with our word bank. So our word bank has 9 words, my dear learner. Let me hope that now you've developed the concepts of reading, spelling, and writing different kinds of words, scientific terms, and their simple meanings, because from our lesson 1 we started with this up to lesson number 29. So let me hope that now you've obtained the skills of doing that very well. So without wasting any time, let us get started. So we are going to start with our first word here. What is this word over there? Yes, you've pronounced it right. This is what we call hydrometer. So this is hydrometer. So a hydrometer, it's an instrument which we use to measure densities of different liquids. Densities of different liquids. For example, you can have water and also maybe milk. All these ones are liquids, but they have different densities. When you have water, then plus cooking oil, so they have different densities. That's why you'll find oil settling on top, then water at the bottom, meaning that this one has its density and this one has its density. So to know the density of this oil, we are using an instrument called the hydrometer. But some members confuse this hydrometer with hygrometer. This hygrometer, we are having this one. This is hygrometer. Hygrometer, for it measures what we call humidity. What is humidity? The amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. But then our word here is hydrometer. It is for densities of different liquids, right? Then you have this word here. Oh, we missed one letter, and this word is then extinguish, then sure. So this one becomes extinguisher. So to extinguish, it means to stop fire, to put out fire. So fire extinguishers. So those cans, they are normally painted red. Why? For easy identification. In case of any fire outbreak, we can easily see where it is located. Then we get it, we apply it on fire, and then we put out fire. And this one is mainly used when we are putting out petrol fire, so that fire caused by petrol, simply because we can't use water. Reason, this petrol floats on water, right? As it floats on water, it's going to keep on burning. Are you getting that? So that's why we don't use water to put out petrol fire. Why? Petrol floats on top of water, then remember what is flowing. As it is flowing, it is going with the petrol, and petrol is burning, so it's going to burn, it's going to spread fire all over the place. So I think I've understood that we don't use water to put out petrol fire, simply because this petrol floats on water and spreads more fire. So we are advised to use a fire extinguisher with the carbon dioxide. It can be powdered carbon dioxide. We can use this fire. We can use sand or soil. Then again, we can use buckets. But now don't pour there water, because water will just float on top. Petrol will float on top, then it flows and spreads more fire. Then we have our other word here. What's this word? This word is fracture. This is fracture. So the word is fracture. What is a fracture? A fracture, it is an accident. Do you remember what an accident is? The sudden happening that can cause harm or injuries to an individual, or to someone, or to a person. Now we have this abrupt happening. We don't expect to get this, but we get it. What is this? This is when our bones get cracked, or when these bones get broken, or when these bones get bent. All those ones are terms which refer to what we call a fracture. So a fracture is a broken, cracked, or a bent bone in the body. So when this bent, the bending of bones is normally seen in children because they lack mineral salts of calcium. And then their bones, they just bend, then they get deformed by bending. So, and this type of fracture is what we call the grain sticky fracture. It is called the grain stick fracture. This is when the bones just bend within the body. Then other kinds of fractures, we have the open fracture. This is when the bone breaks and comes out of the skin. Then the closed fracture, when the bone breaks and remains inside the skin. Then you have the comminuted fracture. Comminuted or complicated fracture. This is when a bone breaks into several pieces. So those are the fractures. This open is also called the compound, and this closed is also called the simple fracture. Okay, so let us get another word here. Some members fail to write this word, and this word is air rate. It is air, and some members write it like this. No, this is wrong. It is, instead of I we use E. The word becomes air rate. So air rate means to make burrows. And which organisms make burrows within the soil? Mainly they are the annelids. And which annelid is that one? This annelid is an earthworm. It is an earthworm. So it is an earthworm. Apart from the earthworm, we have other examples of annelids like the lager worm. Then we have the ranga. We have ranga worm, lager worm. We have leeches. We have earthworms. All of these ones are annelids, which we call the segmented worms. If you remember, Seruyange Faruku and Nepikira. Okay, so we have this other word. This is a disease, and which disease this is? It is a deficiency disease. What are deficiency diseases? Now, deficiency diseases are the diseases we get due to lack of certain food nutrients or certain food values in our bodies. Then remember, these food values are classified into 7, but we have a class of mineral salts. Then this goiter, it is a mineral salt deficiency disease, meaning that it is a disease we get due to lack of a certain mineral salt. Then which mineral salt is that one? That is the iodine. And where do we get iodine? By eating the table salt, from the table salt. That's why when you get that table salt in that car park, when you read on that cell phone where that salt is, there is this word. You are going to find this word there, which is iodized, meaning that there is iodine. So iodine is very crucial in preventing what we call the goiter. This one causes the neck to do what? To swell, because this iodine is responsible for making what we call the thyroid glands. The thyroid glands found within the neck, and these thyroid glands are responsible for producing a hormone called thyroxine. Hormone called what? Thyroxine. And this thyroxine is responsible for maintaining what we call growth. From the previous lessons, we looked at growth and we said it is the irreversible increase in what? In size. But once we are increasing in size, we are having what we call cell division. Now these cells have to divide. If now you have this white blood, let us say you have a muscle cell. Now this muscle cell has to divide into other muscle cells. Then after, these muscle cells have to elongate. But what makes them to elongate? It is what we call all this one is facilitated by what we call the hormone called thyroxine, produced by the thyroid glands. And for them to function very well, they need what we call iodine salt. Out there. That's why you may find that some people are too tall. Why are they tall? Because now their cells they have elongated, they have over elongated. Now why? Because they have a lot of thyroxine, meaning that their thyroid glands produce a lot of thyroxine, which makes these cells to over elongate. Then they become too tall. Why? Their bodies are full of iodine, that mineral salt. And again, some people are too short like this. Why? Because these people who are short, their thyroid glands are producing a little thyroxine hormone. Then this thyroxine hormone will not make these cells do what? Elongate, to become long. So they just become short, just like this one. They don't over elongate. Then some people like us, we are medium. Why? We have enough enough iodine salt. So to know that one, some people swell the neck, and that is what we call the goiter. This is goiter. So it is a mineral deficiency disease. So mineral deficiency diseases, apart from goiter, we have what we call anemia, when we lack a mineral salt called iron. Then we can get also what we call hemophilia. This one, poor blood clotting. So all those ones there. Now let us go to other word here. Our next word is bilharzia. The word is bilharzia. The word is bilharzia. The word is bilharzia. The word is bilharzia. Now this bilharzia, it is also called schistosomiasis. This is schistosomiasis. So that becomes schistosomiasis. Why? Because it's caused by a worm which is called schistosomes. The schistosome worms. Oh, let me rub this one and you see it clearly. the schistosomes. This one, schistosome worms. So these worms are spread by a vector which is called the freshwater snail. So the disease is bilharzia, spread by freshwater snails, caused by a worm called schistosome, and it is also called Schistosomiasis, affecting our kittens. Now we have this other word here, and what is this word? This word is read as trypanosome. Sorry, so some people can write this one as trypanosoma. It is not trypanosoma. The word is trypanosome, and this trypanosome, it is a protozoan, and this protozoan is spread by a fly, HV. Now this trypanosome, it is responsible for causing what we call the sleeping sickness, affecting our eyes, or in animals it is nagana or nagana. So nagana or sleeping sickness are spread by fly, caused by what we call trypanosome. These ones, they are protozoans. Then we have this word here, river blindness. This is river blindness. Now this is the disease, but this disease is spread by a fly, and this is called a black fly. And if it's not called a black fly, it is called the Simurium fly. It is called and the Simurium what? The Simurium fly. Then these Simurium flies, for them, they lay their eggs. They lay their eggs on fast flowing water. That's why they have their nickname as ginger flies, because those days ginger had very many waterfalls, whereby that water is flowing very, very fast. For them, they lay their eggs deep there. Now when those eggs are laid, they are going to hatch into the germs, and those germs are what we call onchokaka. Onchokaka. Now onchokaka volvulus. Onchokaka volvulus. So volvulus. So onchokaka volvulus. Now this is the germ which causes river blindness. Again, there is this common question in exams: the difference between river blindness and night blindness. They bring that river blindness is caused due to lack of vitamin what? Vitamin A, whereas this river blindness is caused by onchokaka volvulus. Or you can tell us that the river blindness is a communicable disease. It can be spread from one person to another, whereas night blindness is spread by it is non-communicable, meaning that it cannot be spread from one person to another. If me am eating my vitamin A's, I will not get night blindness, but you if you are not having that, you will get. But even if when I sit with you, I share with you the spects, I will not get that disease. It is non-communicable. Why? It is not caused by any germ, because that germ is done coming from there, entering my body like that. Okay, so and this river blindness sometimes is called onchocasiasis. So onchocasiasis, this is onchocasiasis from its germ onchokaka volvulus. Now lastly we have this one. Wow, what's that one? A 3-letter word that is read as air. It is read as air. It is read as air. So it is read as air. Now what is air? Now air is the mixture of gases. What are those gases? We have nitrogen, we have oxygen, we have rare gases, and carbon dioxide. And this air has its properties, like it has weight, it occupies space, it exerts pressure. My dear learner, are we still together? Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being attentive. Now let us read these words one more time. I think you've written them down in your book as usual. Now this one is air, this is trypanosome, then we have river blindness, goiter, bilharzia, hydrometer, extinguisher, though R is missing, we have fracture, and aerate. So that has been our word bank for this lesson number 29. What next? What next is our science diagram. So get ready for the science diagram. Here it is. Wow, this science diagram, it is showing us a certain vector. It is showing us a certain vector. When I talk of a vector, I think we understand that. So a vector is a living organism. It is a living organism that spreads germs, not diseases. It spreads germs that cause diseases. Or it's a living organism that can spread germs. Now, why we don't say diseases? Because if you see maybe like this vector we are having, when it is coming with a disease, can you remain there? You just take off because you are seeing it coming with a disease, but we don't run. Why? We don't care, because we are not seeing the germs that they are dangerous, like house flies. So the house fly can come and fall on your mouth and you just chase it. Why you don't bother? Why? You've not seen the cholera. But when you see the cholera coming, you see the diarrhea within the cholera. When you see the housefly, you run. But again, the housefly can fall in your teeth, then you remove it, you take it. Are you getting? On food, you just chase it, you continue eating. You are eating, the houseflies are around your fingers, you just chase them. Why? You don't see the diseases, but they are just carrying those tiny organisms, the microscopic organisms. That's why we are defining our term vector as an organism that can spread germs. And what is a germ? A germ is a living organism. A germ is that living organism. So it is a living organism that can cause diseases. In other words, a vector spreads a germ, then a germ causes a disease. And now these germs are also called pathogens, and there are 4 types of pathogens. Do you know about virus? Then we have the bacteria, then we have the protozoa class, and we have the fungi class. So all of these ones are pathogens. They are causatives, or they are living organisms that can make us do what? Fall sick. So the things that carry them, they are called vectors. Like now people are vectors of COVID-19. COVID-19 doesn't work. It is we people who can carry it from one place to another. So we are vectors of COVID-19, like people carrying HIV/AIDS. So the virus, it is within me. Now I just carry it. Now I'm a carrier. I become a vector. Okay, let's come back here. Now our vector today, what's this vector? That vector, obviously it is a mosquito. Now these mosquitoes are there of 3 types. We have the tiger mosquitoes. 2, we have the Chilex mosquito. And 3, we have the Anopheles mosquito. But mainly, let us now first get this one, the tiger mosquito. It is called also the Aedes mosquito, and for it is responsible for carrying a germ which causes yellow fever, and that germ is under a type of virus. That germ is under the type of what? Virus, and that virus is called the Zika virus. It is called Zika virus. That's why now this yellow fever, it is dangerous because it causes jaundice. You know jaundice? Jaundice, you get a pale yellow skin, even you get yellowish eyes. The eyes become yellow, then the skin becomes pale. Now that one is called jaundice. It's called jaundice. This is the word jaundice. That's the sign of yellow fever. And now this yellow fever, it is now being put among the other immunizable diseases like COVID-19. Now this Chilex mosquito, for it carries germs that cause a disease called Elfanthiasis. And now this Elfanthiasis is caused by what we call filaria worms or filario worms. Now when these filario worms enter the body, they are going to attack a body system, and that body system is called lymphatic system. This Elfanthiasis does not affect the circulatory system. Elfanthiasis affects the lymphatic system, the lymph nodes, the lymph and the lymph nodes. We shall discuss this lymphatic system later. Now that's why you get swollen, the legs get swollen. Now why? The lymph nodes have been affected by the filaria worms or the filario worms. Then and the germs are filaria worms. Then the disease is Elfanthiasis. Then when you come to the Anopheles class, then this one you're going to this one is common, and we are going to discuss it fully. One, we have the female Anopheles mosquito, and two, the male Anopheles mosquitoes. Now this female Anopheles mosquito does not feed on blood, so it feeds on fruits and nectar from flowers. Then this one also feeds on fruits and nectar from flowers, but again we see it having a special characteristic of sucking what? Of sucking blood. So why does it suck blood? It is not sucking blood to get food from it. Either this mosquito is not a parasite. It is not a parasite, as you may think that now it comes, it sucks blood. A parasite, it is depending on you. It means that it is using that one as its food. But this mosquito does not depend on our blood, but it is taking that, does not feed that blood is not its food. This blood contains amino acids or amino acids, and these amino acids, they make what we call the proteins. So it feeds on those mosquitoes on our blood. As it is feeding on our blood, it is looking for amino acids or proteins that's going to use in egg production. It needs to produce eggs in its body, then they get fertilized by the male, then they let them out to produce young ones. But it does not feed or does not take our blood as its food. No, it is just picking amino acids or the proteins in that blood in order to make eggs or for egg production. That is the female Anopheles mosquito. But once they bring it in a question, how is it differ from the other one in terms of feeding? Sometimes this one feeds on blood, whereas this one does not feed on blood. And this mosquito is very funny. When it is feeding on blood, especially at night in darkness, they can sense where the human being is. How? Because as you are in that darkness, we are breathing. As we are breathing, we give out carbon dioxide. When we give out carbon dioxide, they are now going to sense. They are sensitive to smell that carbon dioxide, and they land on you even if you're in darkness, right? So that's how you might wonder, how can it see me in darkness? That's how it does that. Now when it is biting you, when it is sucking blood from you, it uses its proboscis, which is called a stylet. That proboscis has that part called the stylet. The ones that are piercing. After piercing, then it's going to inject saliva inside your blood, and this saliva has what we call anticoagulants. Coagulant, it means to prevent something from clotting or quite. Now the blood remains fresh. Then as it is sucking that one, gets proteins, it makes what? Eggs. That is the female Anopheles mosquito. Now these mosquitoes, female males, they are insects, but when you look at these female Anopheles mosquitoes, their work is to lay eggs. For them, they reproduce by laying eggs, and they have internal fertilization. Now when you look at this female Anopheles mosquito, it lays eggs on stagnant. The word is stagnant water. So they lay eggs on stagnant water. Then even these Chulex mosquitoes, some of them they lay eggs on stagnant water, but these eggs are in a group. So they lay eggs in a group. So now let us look at their metamorphosis. Now their metamorphosis, these mosquitoes, they undergo a complete metamorphosis, meaning that they have 4 stages of development. They have 4 stages of what? Of development, meaning that they start with them, as we've been discussing. There are 4 stages. They start with eggs. Then from the eggs are going to hatch into the larva. Then the larva is going to turn into what we call the pupa. Then the pupa is going to give us the adult. Now when you look at let me change the color here such that we can see this one clearly. Now when you this one is not clear, let us use a black, right? Yeah, let us use the black here. Now when you look at this here, now these are the eggs. Now this is the egg stage. Now these eggs are going to turn into this one, and this is what we call the larva. Then the larva is going to turn to this one, which is the pupa, and the pupa is going to give us the adult. Now when you look at these eggs, they are in a raft. When you look at this larva is slanted. So it is in a slanted position on water. Now when you look at this one, it is like that. Now when you look at this this one, when look at this, it is having this abdomen like this. Now we are going to dwell on this life cycle. This is the larva, these are the eggs, the larva, the pupa, the adult. Now when look at this larva, it uses they breathe using dissolved oxygen. Now what I want us to just go and understand, we are now going to compare the two mosquitoes here, the female Anopheles mosquito and the male Anopheles mosquito, when you are looking at their when we are looking at their life cycles, because that thing confuses very many. For example, if we are looking at the female Anopheles, and here we have the the Chulex mosquito. Let me change this color. This one is too faint. Let us use this. Now when look at this one, all of them lay eggs, but the eggs differ. Now this one lays eggs with what we call air floats. Now these things you are seeing are what we call air floats to prevent the eggs from sinking in water. But now when look at this one, it lays eggs in a group. Now when it is laying eggs in a group, now this is what we call a raft. It lays eggs in a raft. Then these eggs are going to hatch. When they hatch, they are going to form the larva, but the larva of this female Anopheles mosquito, it is horizontal to the water surface. I think it is sleeping horizontally. Now this is the larva. Now the larva of this one is sleeping horizontally, but when we go to this one, the larva of this one, it is slanted. Are you getting this? It is slanted, so it is at an angle. It is just like this, so it is slanted on water. So in exams they can draw for you this, and they tell you name the mosquito, then or name the disease, or name the germ. So if you know that mosquito, now this is going to be the Chulex mosquito. Why? The larva, its larva stage, it is in a slanted position on water. Now what is the disease? The disease is Elfanthiasis, right? If it is Elfanthiasis, what is the body system affected? The lymphatic system. Now what is the germ? The germ is the filaria worm or the filario worms. Now when we come to this one, you just get to know that this is upright, it is horizontal on water surface. Then the mosquito becomes the female Anopheles mosquito. Body system affected, the circulatory system, the blood component, they are the red blood cells or corpuscles. Then the disease is malaria. Are we getting that? Then the germ is plasmodia or plasmodium germs, and we have very many. We have 5 classes of plasmodia types. Now after that, these ones are breathing. They are taking in dissolved oxygen, but the larva stage of this mosquito and the female Anopheles, it uses spiracles to take in oxygen, but this one does not use spiracles. It uses openings called the siphons. It uses the siphons. So the larva for this one uses spiracles, the larva for this one uses the siphons to take in oxygen. Then after, this one is going to turn to a pupa stage. Now pupa stage, it is like a C. Even this one, it is like a C. So the pupa stages of both mosquitoes, they are the same. Now this is the pupa. So the pupa stage uses what we call the trumpet to do what? To breathe. All of them use the trumpet to breathe. Now when you go to this second stage, it has a scientific name. So the scientific name is called the regular. The scientific name is called the regular. That's the regular. Then from here we are going to get the adult. Then the adult here is now going to make the abdomen point forward. And this is the thorax. Then this is going to be its abdomen. Now its abdomen is going to be pointing upwards in the resting position. Like if it was the flat like this, then when it is an adult, then the abdomen is going to be pointing upwards. So it's going to be in a slanted position upwards. Then here its abdomen is going to be down, or it's going to be flat on the ground. So when you look at it like this, now this abdomen here, it is for the Chulex mosquito. From what we have explained, now this one is showing you the Chulex mosquito. If it was a male Anopheles, if it was female Anopheles, it was going to point up like this. So this one is for the female Anopheles mosquito, then this one is for the Chulex mosquito. Are you getting? So all their pupa stages are the same. So this one is the larva stage, which is called the regular. It uses dissolved oxygen. and it uses phones when it is breathing. Now this one, these are the trumpets. It's using what we call the trumpet. Then the adult mosquito uses what we call the spiracles. So there are 4 classes of mosquitoes. I mean 3: the tiger, the Anopheles, and also the Chulex. The Chulex, Elfanthiasis. This is malaria. This is the yellow fever, Zika virus. Then this one is Plasmodia, and there are very many. We have Plasmodia vivax, we have Plasmodia malariae, we have Plasmodia ovale, we have Plasmodia falciparum, and this one is the one which causes what we call the cerebral malaria, omusujja gw'okubwongo. It is this one. And this malaria, it affects the circulatory system and the blood component called the red blood corpuscles, and some person with this malaria becomes anemic simply because the red blood cells are destroyed by the Plasmodia parasites. Now they are the Plasmodia being the parasites. Because we keep them in our blood, getting food from our blood, reproducing from our blood, and so on and so forth. My dear learner, let me hope that you've understood to differentiate between a male and to give a difference between Chulex mosquito and the female Anopheles mosquito. Oh, that's good of you. Right, let us now go to our lesson for today. Alright, then we are now visiting a farm. You know, on a farm, we are carrying out what we call animal husbandry plus crop husbandry. Then animal husbandry, we are rearing a livestock. Livestock, I mean animals like sheep, pigs, cattle, and so on. So today we are now going to look at calf management on a farm. So what is a calf? Let us start with this one. What is a calf? So a calf is a young one of a cow, right? Meaning that the process by which this cow gave rise to a calf, it was called calving. So it's the act of producing calves or a calf by a cow, and a cow is a female cow. Yes, you can take it like that. And the gestation period of this cow, it is 9 months. Now if it's not called calving, we can call it parturition. We can call that one parturition. Now after calving or after parturition, how are we going to manage our calves to make them turn into bulls or to turn into cows? One, we have to make sure that there is what we call numbering. We have this one, daily routine, that is numbering. 2, there is what we call castration. So when they are males, we have to castrate them. 3, there is also what we call spraying. We have to spray them, spraying our calves. 4, there is what we call disbanding or dehorning or salakamaime. 5, there is also what we call removal of extra teats. You have to remove them. Removal of extra teats. Remember, these teats must be 4, but now maybe this one can be the other having this, then there is another here, so we remove this one. So all these ones, when you look at all that, we are looking at methods of caring. How do we take care for our animals? And now once these calves grow, we can also see what we call the milking part of it. We shall see this one on a farm. Now let us start with the numbering. Why do farmers number their animals, their calves? So numbering, they number them for easy identification and follow-up. You can follow up and say, this animal called Akim, I'm not seeing it. The calf called Agaba, I'm not seeing it. Where is the calf called Kajonge? Then calf called Sisi. So those ones, so we can easily monitor. The farmer can easily monitor. Those animals and identify them so easily. Now let us see some methods these farmers take when they are numbering their animals. Remember, sorry, this was lesson 29 still. Now when you look at this one, farmers can number their animals through using what we call numberlesses. We have numberlesses. Now when we talk of a numberless, this is when, if this is the animal, these are the horns, this is the head, then this is, if now this is the cow. Now within the neck here, the farmer is going to give this animal a strip in a neck, like a necklace, like the women do. So that is the number less. They give them every day, so the bell is ringing. Now 2, we can use what we call ear tattooing. There is this one called ear tattooing. So they have their ears. This is the ear. Now on this ear they give it a tattoo. They say this cow or this bull is called gaba. Then they say this cow, it is called oweni. Now when you see this one, this is ear tattooing. It is a method of numbering our calves so that they can easily be identified. Number 3, there is what we call ear notching. Ear notching. So with ear notching, these cows have ears. Then a farmer keeps on cutting this ear, the edges of the ear, like this, in different shapes. You can cut XX, you can cut like this, you cut them like this. Now this one becomes ear notching for easy identification, so that once these animals go to graze and they mix up with your neighbor's animals, you can easily identify yours. Mine, I cut them on the ears like this. Then you just get yours. Number 4, apart from ear notching, we can carry out what we call ear tagging. Ear tagging. So we give it a tag. So we give it a tag if this one is the ear and this animal is stubborn, like Maima. We write on this one and say this is Maima. The moment you check, I'm not seeing Maima is not to come back. You can easily get to know that Maima is not around. You have identified that, then you look for Maima very fast. So we will give it a tag, like an earring. So this is ear tagging, ear notching, then ear tattooing, numberlesses, and also there is what we call branding. Ouch! Branding is so painful. Now if this is our animal, these are the horns. Now like this one, it has the hump, then it has the legs, then it has also the 2 legs like this, and this is the tail. Now with ear notching, with the branding, they just get hot iron plate, akuma. Maybe they make it with letter X, but it is hot. Then they bring it and they press it maybe at a certain part of an animal, not on everywhere, because it was spoiled the hide. Then they can never jocha. Then X is there. Then they can put at the hump. Now even they can put somewhere, maybe down here. Now when you see these ones, these are the brandings. So this method of numbering is called branding. It's called what, my dear? Now it is called, yes, good, it's called that. Now apart from that one, there is also what to call tail bobbing. Tail bobbing, this is when they shorten the tail. So this is when they cut the tails of those animals are short, because those tails, they have a part called a switch. If you look at the tail of this animal, then it has this part like a broom. Now this part here is what we call the switch, because they can use this switch to beat the farmer when you are milking, as it is swinging it, so it can beat you with the switch. So what you do, you cut off this. Now that is, you cut off the switch, not the whole tail but the switch. Then that is called tail bobbing, as it is done in shape, which we call docking. Then again there is what we call gluing. There is this gluing, and now this gluing is the shaving of air around the vulva. Shaving of hair. So you shave that animal, shaving of hair around the vulva, that is gluing. And now if this is its vulva, this is the animal, just like this one, and now this is the vulva, these are the legs. Now around the vulva there is hair. You can try to look at those animals at home, then you just shave all this hair, then you can easily identify that my animals are glued. Yours aren't glued, so you don't, because some animals can have similar colors and so on and so forth. So when you glue them, you can easily identify them like that. So we have looked at numbering, and we've said under numbering, why do we number is identifying of animals. Methods we use: number laces, that is a necklace, then tattooing, then ear notching, ear tagging, gluing, tail bobbing, and other branding. All right, my dear learner, so after you have looked at this numbering, let us look at another cattle farm, management of calves on a farm, and this is going to be dehorning or salakama yembe. Now if you don't call this one dehorning, you can call it DC budding. It is called this what? DC budding. Now this is the practice of removing horn bands from the animal's head. Is the practice of removing horny buds from the head of the animal. But this one is done when these calves are still young, so they can be dehorned or disbudded at as early as 3 to 14 days. Now why? Obuyendo bwa bukyali buto nga bugonda nga bwakavaayo. So that's why it's easier to do it at that level. Then this budding or this dehorning, it has 3 methods of doing it. 1, we can use the chemicals. We can use the chemicals. Then 2, we can use what we call hot iron or dehorner iron, or hot iron dehorner. So we can use that one. So it is dehorning iron we can use by using dehorning iron. And we can use lastly spoon dehorners. We can use spoony dehorners here. Now with these chemicals, they are caustic sticks. Caustic sticks. Then if this is like an animal, now the yemba here, now you just rub this caustic stick over here until the bird is trying to do what? To bleed. Then when it bleeds, then this caustic chemical will enter inside, then to stop this one from growing. Now with the dehorning iron, this is the red hot iron which is pressed outside the horn of this bird for a short period of time. But as we have put, it is hot iron which you put here. It is hot. It is hot. You even, it can be a knife. Actually, it can be even a knife. When the knife is hot, then you just bring it over here. It's like melting the bird. When it starts to break off, then you remove it. But you have to make sure that you don't put it too deep, because it can affect the brain of this animal. And lastly, we can use the spoony dehorners. Then why do farmers need to do what? To dehorn their animals? 1, when these animals are dehorned, they are easy to handle. Kati goyinza okuba ngoyina enti nenga zina amayembe makulu ga ozitya esobola nokusitula mu jjame n'ekuteeka mu bbanga n'ekusuula eri. Can you imagine? So that's why you have to dehorn these animals in order to handle them easily. So it is easy to handle these animals, and it reduces the injuries of, the risks of injuries. Reduces the risks of injuries. Ziyinza okuba zirwanirwa ebikuta, fighting for food, then eri negisaamu ejjebe ginnewayo mu liiso. Can you imagine? Eriiso ne livaamu oba ne bakitunga we bat, then it is going to do what? To die. So in order to avoid that, to avoid those risks, you have to dehorn your calves when they are still young. So we dehorn them in order to reduce the risks of injuries. Even this animal can be just moving like this, and a jembe, that horn, gets stuck into maybe a tree. Then as it is trying to remove it, then you find it there when it is even dying. Can you imagine? So we should dehorn them in order to reduce the risks of injuries. And it also increases the space in a kraal. It increases the space in a kraal. The space in a kraal, and this kraal is also called the byre. It increases the space in a kraal. For example, if now this is our kraal, now you have this animal, it has long horns, now like this. Now another also has long horns. Now you are going to keep a few animals because the horns are like branches of trees. So when you dehorn them, you can increase the space in a kraal, and once the space in a kraal is increased, you can keep many animals. So many animals can be kept in small space. in a smaller space. Many animals can be kept in a small what? In a small space. And the horned animals are good to look at, so they are more appealing. They are more appealing. You look at them, they're nice, they look nice, so they are more appealing. Appealing means good to look at. So those are the reasons. That's why a farmer has to dehorn the animals. We've said dehorning, that's the practice of removing horns from the calves, and there are 3 methods we can do that. We can use the chemicals, we can use the dehorning iron, we can use the spawn dehorners. And why do we need to dehorn? In order to increase space in a kraal, to avoid or to reduce the risks of injuries, and also to keep the remaining animals in in a smaller space. And then these animals are easy to manage or to handle. Are we still together, my dear learner? All right, that's good. Now let us look at another another management activity or daily routine, and this is none other than castration. So we are looking at castration. What is castration? Castration is the removal. So castration is the removal of tests from animals. That is very simple. So it's the removal of tests from animals. And why do we remove them? We are going to see the reason as why we remove the tests. So how do we do this castration? There are 3 methods here. There is what we call open operation castration, then we have the closed operation castration, and we have the use of loops. Let me start with the use of loops. Use of loops, this is when you get a rubber band, or anything which is rubber or a rope, then you tie. You remember we have the tests. This is the scrotum. Now inside you have the tests, then the tests have the vas deferens, the sperm ducts. Now you tie tightly here when they are still young, at an age of 3 to 4 days. 3 to 4 3 to 4 days you castrate them. Now when you tie this, now they are going to start shriving, then they break off. So that is one. This is castration, use of loop. Now with the closed operation, here we use a machine which is called a badizo, an instrument called a badizo. So this badizo is like a plier, ebanga magalo naye ngeruma. So you just get this. Now let me draw it. Now this is our scrotum, then what now you just press, then when you press, then you cut off all these sperm ducts. Now this is the closed. Then with open castration, but this one is normally seen in pigs, because their tests don't dangle, they don't swing. If this is a pig, the tests are on the body. That's why we usually use open castration. So here you get a sharp knife or a sharp razor blade, then you start cutting the scrotum, then you remove the testicle. You cut here, you remove the testicle. So this is what we call the open operation castration. So those are the 3 methods of carrying out castration in animals. We've said we have the closed operation, the open operation, and use of loop. So it is call or lock. So use of loop, open operation castration, closed operation castration. Are we there? Now, why is it necessary for farmers to castrate their calves? Why? So the advantages: 1, these castrated animals, they grow very fast, they grow fast, and they grow fat, and they are docile. So they are easy, they are humble and easy to handle. They grow, and in the other animals it reduces on the bad smell, so they smell less, so it reduces that bad smell once it is castrated. And also this castration is very important in controlling what we call inbreeding, and also it helps to prevent what we call undesirable breeds or pregnancies. Osanga akatiti kaina rulyo ne kalinyire enti ne kajiwakisa. That's no, what we do, we castrate them, so to avoid undesirable pregnancies, to avoid inbreeding, and to reduce that bad smell. They grow very fast and easy to handle. Then these castrated animals can graze together with the cows, because those bulls, they tend to be bully. as their names, bulls. So they can bull these cows. Once you graze them together, they horn them, you know. Now, but once you castrate them, they are docile. They can graze together with those other animals. Now, let us see. However much it is good, but it has those disadvantages. One, it is painful. Can you imagine if you are the person and they castrate you like that? Remember, for them, they castrate them without using any anesthesia okusanyalaza. So it's so painful. Two, the animal may lose a lot of blood. So when it loses a lot of blood, this animal might become anemic. Then three, the wounds might become septic. The wounds might become septic. Then four, the animals are denied their natural sexual feelings. They have to mate. Now, why do you deprive them their natural right of reproducing? They have to do it. Then because now you've chopped them, so they cannot do it. So so wounds, the wounds might become septic. Then the animal might lose a lot of blood and becomes anemic. Then it is so painful, and the animal is deprived. It is deprived of their natural sexual feelings to reproduce. So you deny them their natural feelings and rights for reproduction. Okay, my dear Lana, so we've said other farm management activities. We have deworming, of which this one we discussed it later on, whereby we said as drenching and dosing. Then we have spraying, we have to spray them. Then we have to remove the extra TTC, and also we have, once they grow, we have to carry out what we call milking. Alright, so I think you've been a good learner. This has been lesson number 29. Let us go in our activity. Number one is going to start from here. Now this is the activity. Now we are going to start from here. One, it is saying, why do we brush our teeth regularly? Number two, why should let me rub this one. Why should drinking water be boiled? Number three, name the vector that spreads bilharzia. 4, what is disbudding? Then 5, why should farmers debeak their poultry? Which body system is affected by Elfanthiasis? Number 7. Let's go to 7 here. Which blood component is affected by malaria? Name the sweet juice bees get from flowers. Get from flowers. What is personal hygiene? What is personal hygiene? Number 10, who is a casualty? Number 11, how is cassava propagated? Number 10, how is the feeding of a tapeworm different from that of a hookworm. Number 13. Suggest 2 reasons why farmers dehorn their animals. Number 14. What is a parasite? Number 15. Mention 1 example of a natural method of family planning. In which state of matter is smoke? Number 17. How far should a pit latrine be constructed from a kitchen? Number 18. How useful are ventilators on our houses? Number 19. Which blood vessel carries blood from the heart to the lungs? Number 20. Number 20 here. Which food value is obtained from eating a sugar cane? 21. Identify 2 disorders of the reproductive system. 22. Name the germ that causes syphilis. 23. How do bacteria reproduce? Define pollination. 25. Write any one mineral deficiency disease. 26. Who are vulnerable people? $29. Okay, you've been a good learner. We meet in the next lesson.